All right, so real quick, go ahead and give your wildest guess. Or how much do you think this kid can bench? Just by face glance, just by looking at him, one quick look, how much do you think? To be honest with you, it's a trick question because that's me, and I wasn't even benching at that time. That picture was taken, I was doing calisthenics training probably around that point, maybe doing like a little bit of like cable work, but other than that, I wasn't benching. I wasn't even hitting free weights. I started at the bottom. When I first started going to the gym, I didn't even use free weights. I only used cables. I would walk in, hit a 45-minute cable workout, and then leave. That was how I got started. So whenever I started using free weights, I wasn't very strong. I had about a 95-pound bench, and it took me a little bit of time to get brave enough to hop underneath the barbell for a squat, just because it's whenever you first do it, obviously it's scary. But whenever I hit that, I think I got like a plate, pretty close to a plate my first time. Same with deadlift. Let's go ahead and fast forward to the present now. I turned one plate on squat to 4. That's not like a crappy rep either. I hit a buttery smooth. It was so good. I wish I had a video of it. But I hit one of the best squats of my life at 405. So yeah, that's one plate going all the way up to 4. I'm at a 435-pound deadlift. That one was a bit of a grind. And 255-pound bench, which that one I'm wanting to get up by the end of this year, but we'll see how that goes with my new training. The point is, I started at the bottom. I worked my way up. Obviously, it wasn't just a straight Venn diagram, like the freaking diagram of just like the line just going like just straight up. Obviously, it wasn't that. I had a lot of hills and valleys, a lot of just things that I had to grind through to be able to get to that point. And over the past 3 years, because of those challenges that I had to overcome, I've learned a lot about how to get stronger and how to break through plateaus. So today, I'm going to help you, because chances are, if you're watching this video, you're stuck in a plateau. If you're like me, I don't know, maybe you've been lifting for a few years, you're trying to like finally get to that 4-plate squat, trying to finally get 225 on bench, whatever it is. If you follow this video and do everything that I tell you you're going to do, there's a good chance that you're gonna break a plateau in a week. Not even joking, straight up. You do everything that I tell you to do in this video, actually put the work in, you actually do what I'm about to tell you to do, you could possibly hit a lifetime PR within 1 week of training. So I don't wanna hype it up too much, but let's go ahead and get started with it. Understand that I'm not just trying to bull crap you. I'm really trying to help you here, because this stuff, like if I had known it earlier, I might be squatting like 5 plates by now, to be honest with you, like completely honest. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So the very first thing is we're gonna look at your rep range. If you're not extremely knowledgeable when it comes to the gym, you might not even really pay much attention to the rep range that you're doing. But I mean, some of you are training like hypertrophy style, obviously, like my age range, the bodybuilding, the aesthetic type of workout is very popular. What I found is whenever I switched to doing, just focusing like purely for like 3 to 4 weeks on 5x5 training, that's whenever I started getting like stronger than I've ever been before. So this is pretty obvious, but you just need to incorporate strength training into your program. Because the thing is, if you're solely focusing on building muscle and just doing, that 8 to 12 rep range, that's not the best for trying to build strength. It's gonna help for sure, and you can get stronger as you do those hypertrophy rep ranges, but it just makes a lot more sense to drop those reps down and go to 5x5 style training. And there are a couple different ways that you can do this. My favorite way is just every 3 to 4 weeks, just doing a block of strength training, focusing only on 5x5. I promise you're not just gonna magically lose all of your gains if you just focus on really trying to spend the next few weeks actually trying to get stronger. The point that I'm trying to make here is, if you are only doing those higher rep ranges, it's going to be very difficult for you to actually get stronger. Well, you're going to have to come to the realization that your muscle isn't going to magically just disappear if you focus on trying to get stronger. I mean, powerlifters are jacked too. Like, they might not be like the most aesthetic, but they still have muscle. You're not gonna lose your muscle by focusing on strength training, especially if it's only for 3 to 4 weeks. So you just gotta get over that mental block of thinking that you have to, be chasing the pump, thinking that you have to, hit a set every 60 seconds, and really just try and be a power lifter for a little bit of time. Now, if you don't want to, you don't have to spend the 3 to 4 weeks only doing 5x5 training. You can do, like strength workouts during the week and then hypertrophy workouts also. But what I've noticed is that I get better results whenever I focus on just one aspect of my training. Like whenever I'm focusing on, okay, I just want to build muscle, that's whenever I put the most muscle on. Whenever I just focus on, okay, I want to build strength, that's whenever I get the strongest. It just makes sense to really focus in during those training blocks on one particular goal. And again, you're not going to lose your muscle by doing 5x5 style training. I promise you. Like I kind of had the same problem whenever I started doing full body training. So for the first two and a half years of me lifting, I did push-pull legs just like everybody else, or chest, triceps, back, biceps, shoulders and legs, like that kind of split. I had been hearing a lot about full body training and how that is actually can produce better results. And at first I was really skeptical about it, because I didn't know if I'm only going to the gym doing a workout 3 times a week, am I just gonna, am I gonna start losing muscle? Am I gonna get worse results? I've been doing full body training for the past 8 to 9 months now, and just last month I got into the best physique that I've ever had in my entire life. So, and keep in mind, that's doing phases of like 5x5 training followed by hypertrophy, followed by, like different rep ranges. The point that I'm trying to make here is that switching up your training, you're not going to lose the progress that you've made. Because I'm trying to understand why certain people just kind of shy away from the 5x5 training whenever they want to hit a PR. Like for me, it doesn't really make sense. If you really want to hit a PR, why would you not be training 5x5? 5x5 is going to train your I can't speak today. But yeah, it just makes sense because 5x5 is closer to actually training for a PR as opposed to that 8 to 12 rep range. You're not gonna be doing a 1 rep max with the same weight that you're doing 8 to 12 reps with. But by focusing on just 5 reps, 4 reps, 3 reps, doing singles, doubles, and triples, you're really training in a specific way to be able to hit a PR. If you really want to hit a PR, just do the 5x5. It's not that complicated. Just do the freaking 5x5. But yeah, I see a lot of guys just like shying away from it. Like they just kind of fall in love with a certain style of training, and that's okay. I'm just telling you, if you want to get stronger, just take a little bit of time and drop your reps. Really just make strength your primary focus, and you're going to be getting great results, and you're not going to lose the results that you've already gained from your hypertrophy training. You get what I'm saying? When it comes to getting PRs, a huge thing about it is just the practice of the lift. It's the technical aspect of it. Like, you can use just raw strength to pick something up, but what matters a lot more than just your raw strength is your technique, is your ability to recruit your muscles in the most efficient way possible, and that's going to move the most weight. So yeah, that's the first tip. Really just drop those reps down, focus on building strength, make that your primary focus for the next 3 to 4 weeks, and you're going to be getting results just by doing that. The second thing that I was going to mention is priming up. So this is something that I didn't really know a lot about until this year. I'd kind of heard the term before, but I didn't really know what it meant. So I'm just going to give you like a really basic definition of it. So priming is different than warming up. So with a warm up, the goal is to just, obviously get the blood flowing, get your heart rate up so that you're physically ready for the lift that you're about to do. Priming is a lot more specific, and it's a lot more specific to the lift that you're about to do. So for example, one type of priming you might do for a bench is a band pull apart. Like before you hop underneath the barbell for a bench, you do the band pull apart, because whenever you hop under the bench, you obviously have to arch your back. And so by doing that band pull apart, you're activating those upper back muscles that are gonna, squeeze and be able to hold that position to really activate your chest throughout the bench. On squat, a type of priming might be some leg swings or like glute activation exercises. Same with deadlift, like activating the glutes beforehand. So what priming does is it focuses on the synergist muscles and the antagonist muscles, and it tries to activate those synergist muscles to get you ready to be able to use the most effort that you can, and it tries to loosen those antagonist muscles to get rid of as much of the friction during the lift that you might face. I don't want to go too much into priming during this video, so I might make a whole video separate about it. But if you want to learn about priming, the people that I learned about it from were the guys from Mind Pump. It's a podcast on Spotify. It's also a YouTube show. You can check them out. They've got good stuff. I bought the 2 programs from them, Prime and Prime Pro. That's wherever I really learned about this stuff. But I'll go ahead and just real quick, give you just a couple of exercises that you can do for your big 3 lifts. So for bench, I mentioned band pull aparts. You want to do those because that's going to activate the upper back muscles to activate your back throughout your bench. Another one that I do is just like a single arm banded chest press, because that'll just kind of target my chest and just get it kind of fired up, get the muscles ready. It's a lot more of a specific warm up before you hop under there. For squats, you can do, I like the 90-90 stretch quite a bit, just doing active stretches to open up your hips, because the big problem with squats is, the depth of it. And squatting is just a really tough exercise, man. So you gotta warm up for it properly. You gotta prime for it properly. I would just try and do a couple active stretches to open up those hips as much as you can. And then if you want to do something like leg swings or front kicks to just kind of get that dynamic range moving, you could do that too. For deadlifting, I would just focus on doing as much as you can to activate the glutes. So what that might look like, you could even do like hip thrusts before you do your deadlift, and that's going to help you because your glutes are already activated. But yeah, you could even do an exercise before deadlift, like rows or hip thrusts to activate those synergist muscles before you even hop and before you even start to deadlift, and that's going to have those muscles activated already. Another thing that you can do before your lift is actually use a power movement beforehand. So before you do your squat, just do like a dumbbell snatch, just to try and get that explosiveness ready. So whereas normal priming is preparing the muscles for the lift that you're about to do, what power movements do is they actually warm up your mind, the mind muscle connection. So a power movement, the whole goal is to move the weight as fast as you possibly can. In a split second, you want to get that weight up. And what that's going to do is it's going to actually prime your central nervous system, and your CNS is actually going to be able to fire at a faster rate because you just did that power movement before you did the lift that you're about to do. It sounds a little bit weird, but it actually works. This isn't any bull crap. I'm not giving you any baloney. Actually try this. Do a couple dumbbell snatches immediately before you do your squat, and you're gonna find that you're gonna be able to fire up a lot faster and more efficiently because you did those power movements beforehand. And that's something that I didn't really do as efficiently as I could until just about this year. And that's this year, it was April, I got PRs in all of the big 3 lifts just by focusing on the priming aspect of it and focusing on the 5x5 training. So all these tips that I'm giving you, these are tips that I've actually incorporated. These aren't things that I just found on the internet and I'm just giving you to oh yeah, the 10 steps to get a PR on bench. Shut up, bro. So many people do that. It's so easy to just make a video, a soulless video of just finding random exercises that you've never even tried before and telling people that they're good. No, this stuff that I'm giving you is stuff that I've actually incorporated into my own life, and it actually helped me. Don't take that lightly. Finally, this is the last thing that you can do to really try and bring up that strength, is you can manipulate other variables of your programming other than the weight itself. So this is things like tempo, rest periods, range of motion, reps, just focusing on the bigger picture, trying to progressively overload in every way that you can. But here is one thing that I swear, I still can't explain this, but this was like magic for me. This was a game changer whenever I incorporated this. It's actually using bands whenever you're lifting. So whenever I first started like actually being able to bench 225 on a consistent basis, I was only able to hit it like once or twice every single time that I would bench. It would just be, it was just I just couldn't handle it. I could move the weight, but yeah, I only had 1 to 2 reps every single time that I would do it, and I just couldn't get past that. Well, this one time I'm just messing around late at night. I go ahead and I throw on a band on the bench with I think it was like 185 that I had on the bar. I just throw a band over it, and then I pump out 10 reps. I kid you not, the next time that I benched, I hit 225 for 4 reps. So I doubled the amount of reps I was able to do with 225 it was probably like 72 hours. I think it was like 3 days later that I would have benched actually the next time. Maybe it was like the next week, but I kid you not, I doubled the amount of reps that I did. And the only thing that I did out of the ordinary was that band. I put a band on the bar and I pumped out 10 reps with one. Oh my gosh, bro. These things are dangerous, man. I really shouldn't be drinking carbonated drinks before workouts, but it was like I wanted caffeine. A Monster is something so simple. I don't want to have pre-workout because it's already like 6:30 and I'm not trying to get like cracked out on caffeine and DMHA and like all that stuff. So I'm getting sidetracked. The only thing that I remember that I did differently during my program was I added the band. And that seems to be what made the change from me being able to do 225 for 2 reps to 4. So I kind of have a couple different ideas for this, but the big thing you got to remember is with bench, it's a bell-shaped resistance curve. After you get past that midpoint, whenever you bench, like that elbow extension, it's super easy. Like you only need to get it up about 90 degrees, I'd say, like your elbow at 90 degrees, and then you're able to just extend your elbows, and then the lift is done. It's just like getting over that hump that's so difficult with the bench. Well, what adding the band does is it completely changes the resistance curve of that. So now, after you get up over the hump, first off, the hump is harder. Yo, pause. The top of the resistance curve is harder, is more difficult. And so after you get past that point, it gets even more difficult after that. So it really trains that second portion of the lift. Like think about every time that you failed on bench. You don't get all the way, like 3/4 of the way done with the lift and then fail. No, it's always, you just can't get past that first little part of it. So what you do is you make that first little part of it more difficult. And the way to do that is, from my experience, what worked best for me was for adding bands. Yeah, bands, dude, freaking just try them. I mean, I know a lot of people, like I've messed with a bunch of guys in the gym, and then they've always come up to me and asked me, like, if they see somebody using bands, like, what is the point of that? And they work. They're an actual tool. They're a legitimate tool that can help you get stronger. Powerlifters have been using them for years now. Bodybuilders are starting to use them now. If you don't have a set of your own bands, I would definitely suggest buying them, just because it's just like a great tool to have. Like if you can't make it to the gym one day, you can just grab some bands. You can get like a little bit of a pump going on. It's not going to be the same as lifting weights, but it's still going to be better than nothing. But that's just a completely even different topic. I would just recommend getting bands. It's a no-brainer for me. But yeah, the next thing you can do is obviously mess with tempo. So just slow that tempo down, try and get more of a control, like do a negative rep, because then that's going to help build muscle also. But it also just helps, with the technique, really focusing on that. And that's probably just the last tip that I'll give you here real quick, is just rather than thinking about like keeping your form perfect throughout the lift, obviously you want to have good form. I'm not telling you to sacrifice form just to put some weight up and ego lift, but it's not a bad idea to lower the weight on the bar, and instead of thinking about, you know, having pitch perfect form, just focus on the feel and the motion of it. Just try and move the weight as smooth as you possibly can. Like, whenever I really stopped and focused on rebuilding my squat technique, that's whenever I built myself up to the point where I hit that 405 squat, which was the cleanest squat, like, PR I have ever had in my entire life. Oh my gosh, it makes me so mad that I don't have a video of it, because it just felt so, it was like, it was perfect. It really was. I mean, I went down, I came straight back up, but yeah, we moved. So that's about all I've got for you guys. I hope that you can incorporate these tips, actually try them out. Please actually try them out. Try them out, and then like come back and comment if they worked or not, or if you hit a PR or not. Again, if you have any questions, if I made anything unclear, comment down below. You can follow me on Instagram, DM me there. I will answer those as soon as I possibly can. And that's about all I've got for you. So keep pushing. You know, work towards your goals, man. Don't waver. Never fold. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.